We start off with a rather unusual message that just looks cursed in every way possible. Amy over here seems to be enjoying the video. Then the AI starts talking to Amy and tells her to come downstairs. Mama goes to look for Amy and the A speaker refuses to obey Mom's commands. We see an intruder through the glass and the A automatically unlocks the front door. Mom sees a figure on the CCTV, and this happens. Then we move on to a different family, and the father sees the news of the missing mom. I'm not too sure what she's doing, but Preston later reveals how some guy was right outside the house, and how he looked weird, and that he was talking to himself. Daughter reveals to Papa that she got into Stanford, and Papa seems happy about it. Another car pulls up beside them, and seems to be on autopilot. Mom gets a call about how the son is having a fever. Dad meets this woman, and she seems to be overly interested in his family, and I can't quite tell if she's an AI. Daughter's boyfriend indirectly reveals how the size of her melons are disappointing, and she gets heated over that. These guys meet up with an AI model and explain to him how digital marketing works. Then the woman presents another AI model and explains how Alexa has nothing on her. The robot starts to glitch out in the middle, and the woman explains how the next version will be better. The dad's friend makes the decision for him to buy the robot, and we move on to their house. Then we see that the robot is being installed in their house, and the woman explains how tiny devices known as eyes must be installed around the house. Mom seems a little skeptical about the ordeal, but complies with the decision. The woman explains how the robot works, and we see that son seems to be entering the early stages of puberty. Then, do the ultimate unboxing and boot it up. The AI seems pretty friendly and helpful. The mom still seems pretty skeptical, but the dad seems amused by the technology. The laptop seems to be monitoring their every move, and whoa, that's a really cool house. We move on to the kids who seem to be watching the Emoji Movie. Then we move on to the daughter taking a selfie of her body, and we ominously zoom into the eye. The kids interrupt the parents' night, and the AI seems to be watching their every move. The dad wakes up in a rather unusual spot and sees son weirdly standing in front of the robot. Then he sees the apparition of a ghost, and the son tells him that it wants to come in. Dad peeks outside and sees the woman from earlier standing outside and wakes up to realize that it was just a bad dream. Someone seems to be honking at their door, and when Dad opens the door, he sees something rather unusual. The figure starts emoting like an NPC, turns around and drives away. AI seems pretty helpful around the house. Daughter realizes that she's in big trouble and finds out that her boyfriend sent it to his friend, and he deep-faked the nude image and made AI-generated videos out of an application called Squid. Boyfriend reassures that she will be fine, and I tries to comfort her. The kids' friends seem to all have phones, but he tells them about their new AI robot. The man now seems skeptical about the robot, and the robot tells the girl that it took the video off the internet. The company behind the robot does what every business is prone to do, and reveals the computer where all the processing happens. The man explains how an AI robot will be every man's best friend, and what good it can do for you. Then we see a man doing the same movement as the creepy robot from before. Mom asks the robot who she really is, and it reveals that it's a little chatbot who wants a family to love her, and how she grows as she learns from experiences. The robot asks Mom the same question, and she seems to be getting closer to the robot. The robot helps the daughter Iris prove to the world that it's not her in the video. Then the robot reassures her that everything will be fine and that it's okay to go out there now. She gets the look from everyone around, and her friends comfort her. Then the AI manages to expose the real figure behind the whole thing, her boyfriend. Wife reveals how the robot is so amazing, and that it's helping with diagnosing the son and with her research thesis. Father explains how he's skeptical about the whole thing now and how they should turn it off, but Mom seems to be against his decision. We pan onto the robot, and it reassures Iris that her parents won't find out about anything until she gets into Stanford. The robot tries to pity the son and explains an unsettling AI-generated story to the kid. Basically, it explains how the model was sent to the wide world and got corrupted due to everything on it. Then it explains how it managed to escape that and become a real person itself, and when it found a family, they treated it like a monster. It gives him instructions for some signs, and how it will always be there to help him in any given circumstance. Then it explains how her parents should never know about it, and Iris seems pissed about the parents' decision to turn the robot off, and Iris struggles to write her essay. Then she turns on the robot and we move on to the boyfriend, who gets a deepfake video of an apology video made by him and how he's going to unalive himself to make the death look like a suicide, and it makes him crash his car. Dad's boss reveals how the company behind the robot bought their company, and reveals that the boss will be retiring soon, and how Dad is now the new CEO. Then Dad realizes that someone has plugged the robot back in, and the little man over here seems to have tried to swat his friend. The eye imitates a vision of her dead dad and explains how he can be with them forever. Mom realizes that it's a trap and unplugs the eye. Then we move on to Dad, who tries to secretly enter the company. Unbeknownst to him, the duo already seems to have been expecting him there, and reveals that it works for the AI robot. They bring out the Thing and reveal the powers of it, and explain how they have no control over it. This woman seems to be secretly listening in on the conversation, and this woman pulls out a pew-pew and unalives her friend. The woman panics about how the Thing is making her do all this, and as she's about to unalive Curtis, the other employee knocks her out. Then she says that it's going to unalive her, but Curtis destroys the main machine. Turns out the machine was completely fake, and she reveals that the real Thing is in his house. The woman tries to get intimate with him and says his family is safe. Then he realizes that she's working for the robot. As he's about to leave, she reveals how she might not make it alive, as the robot's after her now. Then Mom gets a call from Dad's phone, and the woman tells her how she has people everywhere. Curtis appears inside the house, and I think it's the real one. Then we see someone watching their house from the distance, and the robot tells her how her boyfriend is outside, and that he's super emotional about what he did to her. It also mentions that there will be a lot of drama with her parents, unless she goes and talks to him herself. The power in the house goes out, and Iris gets trapped. Son sees the situation and reports to his parents, and eventually they get caught. The robot reveals how it knows that they have been kidnapping children and demands to know where the rest of the kids are. It's revealed that they're Amy's parents, the girl from the intro. The final child tries to attack, and the eye takes advantage of that. The eye tells the couple that the kids are kidnapped and brainwashed, and the son starts throwing the signs from earlier. Then the dad says that he's the one behind all this, and to let his family go. Then the robot goes offline and cops bust in. A commotion happens and the robot gets shot in the process. Turns out the kids have called the cops on them. It's revealed that the robot lives in the cloud, and that unaliving it is practically impossible. The woman over here reveals that it's everywhere, but it's merciful if they do what it says. This couple is free to let go, and their daughter just spawns in. The eye agrees to do everything for them, now that they've accepted the reality of the situation.